5 catastrophic weather events are happening right now across America, and what I'm about to reveal at the 2-minute mark about the flash freeze danger will make you check your driveway immediately. But first, you need to understand why tonight could be the most dangerous commute of the entire winter. It's December 8th, and the atmosphere is in complete chaos mode. We're not talking about one storm, we're talking about 5 simultaneous weather emergencies spanning from coast to coast. And the worst part? They're all peaking within the next 48 hours. Here's the number that should terrify you. Temperatures are about to plunge 40 degrees below normal in some areas. That's not a typo, 40 degrees. And I haven't even told you about the 8-inch snow dump happening right now, or the historic flooding about to devastate the Pacific Northwest. But stay with me, because at the 5-minute mark, I'm going to reveal the exact timeline of when the deadly flash freeze hits your area. And trust me, this is information that could literally save your life tonight. Let's start with what's happening right this second in Virginia and the Carolinas. Light snow is falling across Virginia and North Carolina as I speak. Richmond could see 4 inches by tonight. The Blue Ridge area, 1 to 4 inches already accumulating. And here's what nobody's talking about. The snow isn't the real danger. You heard that right. The snow isn't what's going to cause the accidents tonight. It's what happens after the snow stops, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But first, you need to see these radar images. By 1 or 2 p.m. today, we're looking at intermittent heavy snow from Greensboro and Winston-Salem all the way up to Virginia Beach. That's your rain-snow line. North of that line, between Roanoke, Lynchburg, and Richmond, pure snow. All snow. And this is where the problems begin. Now here's the twist nobody saw coming. By midnight tonight, the snow stops. It's over. New Bern, North Carolina might see some leftover flurries, but by 1 or 2 a.m., it's done. Clear skies. And that's when the nightmare actually starts. Why? Because we've got a massive cold front racing through behind this system. Everything that melted during the day, all that slush, all that wet pavement, it's about to freeze solid. We're talking temperatures dropping into the teens and 20s tonight. Every bridge, every overpass, every inch of Interstate 95 and Interstate 64 is about to become a skating rink. This is what meteorologists call a flash freeze, and it's one of the most dangerous weather phenomena we deal with. You can have a road that looks completely safe, just a little wet, and within minutes, it's pure ice. No warning, no time to react. Here's your specific danger zones. Bridges and overpasses along Interstate 95 and Interstate 64 are going to be particularly treacherous. My advice? Treat any wet-looking road tonight and tomorrow morning as ice-covered. Period. No exceptions. And now, as promised, let me give you the exact numbers for your area. Richmond? Some spots could see close to 5 inches of snow. The higher elevations of West Virginia, we're talking over 8 inches. But here's the kicker. The vast majority of North Carolina is going to see less than 2 inches. The farther south you go, we're talking trace amounts, maybe a skiff at most. But don't let those small numbers fool you. 2 inches of snow followed by a flash freeze is more dangerous than 6 inches of snow with normal conditions. The winners in this system, if you can call them winners, are going to be in the heart of Virginia near Richmond. So here's what you do. Tomorrow morning, leave extra early for work. And I mean extra early. Add at least 20 minutes to your commute. Drive slowly. And whatever you do, do not use cruise control on your way to work. One patch of black ice at 60 miles per hour with cruise control engaged, that's how accidents happen. But we're just getting started. While Virginia is dealing with ice, there's a monster system developing up north, and what I'm about to tell you at the 12-minute mark about the blizzard conditions will shock you. Right now, there's a massive band of heavy snow that has nothing to do with the mid-Atlantic storm. This is a separate system, a powerhouse clipper that's about to dump 6 to 8 inches across Minnesota, portions of North Dakota, and northern Wisconsin. The Upper Peninsula of Michigan? You're looking at more than 6 inches over the next couple of days. And here's what makes this system particularly dangerous. It's not just happening today. This is today, tonight, tomorrow, and into Wednesday. We've got what I call a 1-2 punch situation developing. Let me walk you through this step by step, because timing is everything. Today into tonight, we're going to see a heavy burst of snow move through Minneapolis and most of Minnesota. That system is going to slam into Wisconsin overnight and into the early morning hours tomorrow. The UP of Michigan gets hit with maximum intensity around 4 IM. But notice I said 1-2 punch. That first system? That's just the warm-up. The main event is the Alberta Clipper, and it's going to zoom through Minnesota into Wisconsin and Michigan like a freight train. By 8 p.m. tomorrow night, we're looking at heavy snow in Green Bay, Houghton, Duluth, and International Falls. Get ready for it. The good news, it's going to be a quick hitter. The bad news, it's going to drop 5 to 8 inches very, very quickly. And here's where it gets really dangerous. We're not just talking about snow, we're talking about near zero visibility and blizzard conditions for North Dakota and western Minnesota. Winds are going to blow up to 60 miles per hour, especially on the backside of this system. 60 miles per hour. Think about that. That's hurricane-force winds combined with heavy snow. That's a whiteout. That's the kind of weather where you literally cannot see your hand in front of your face. But wait, there's more. And this is the part that's going to cause the most problems. The Twin Cities area is sitting right on a sharp cutoff where we're probably going to see rain and mixed precipitation mixing in during parts of this storm. Rain mixing with snow, and then, you guessed it, another flash freeze. Because after this clipper moves through, we've got another massive Arctic plunge coming in. And this one is bringing some of the coldest temperatures of the season so far. We're talking about a flash freeze up north that could be quite significant. More significant than what's happening in Virginia tonight. So, Minneapolis, St. Paul, I'm talking directly to you. The next couple of days are going to be messy. Very messy. Stock up on supplies now. Make sure you have food, water, and a way to heat your home if the power goes out. Because with 60-mile-per-hour winds and heavy snow, power outages are not just possible, they're likely. Now, don't miss this next part, because while the East Coast is freezing and the Midwest is getting buried, the Pacific Northwest is about to experience something we haven't seen in years. And the rainfall totals I'm about to show you are absolutely staggering. We're talking about a historic atmospheric river targeting western Washington, Oregon, and the Idaho Panhandle, specifically the Clear Water River Basin, where rainfall totals could reach 4 to 8 inches. Let me say that again. 4 to 8 inches of rain. Not over a month, over the next few days. And here's what makes this particularly dangerous. This is happening in waves through Thursday with no significant break to let the water drain away. It's going to be a continuous deluge from right now all the way through Thursday, especially in Washington and Idaho, even western portions of Montana. This is a high-impact system. We're expecting rapid river rises, rock and mudslides in steep terrain, and urban flooding in low-lying areas. And when I say rapid river rises, I mean rivers that could go from normal levels to flood stage in a matter of hours, not days. We're also going to have really strong winds associated with this system. And here's the twist. It's a warmer storm, so we're not talking much about snow at lower elevations. But in the higher elevations, we are going to add to that snowpack quite significantly at the very top of those mountains. Now, here's the part that should concern you most. This is a warm storm, which means snowmelt on top of historic rainfall rates. If you live near a river or a burn scar, and you know who you are, you need to have a bag packed right now. These rivers can rise faster than you expect when snowmelt is involved. The Weather Prediction Center has issued a slight risk of excessive rainfall for Day 1, Day 2, and Day 3. Even Day 4, we still have a marginal risk between Seattle all the way down to Portland. Over the next 3 days, we're potentially looking at well over 4 to 6 inches of rain in a very tight, compact area. This is going to lead to landslides, mudslides, and flooding. We get atmospheric rivers moving through the Pacific Northwest all the time, but this is the real deal. This isn't just another rainy week in Seattle. This is the kind of system that changes landscapes, that wipes out roads, that forces evacuations. So if you're in western Washington, Oregon, or Idaho, make sure you're doing everything you can to protect your life and property. Clean out your gutters. Check your sump pumps. Know your evacuation routes. And most importantly, if authorities tell you to evacuate, don't wait. Don't think about it. Just go. Now, as if 3 major weather events weren't enough, we've got another big blast of cold air loading up. And this one? This one is substantial. We're talking about cold air that's going to cause problems for millions of people east of the Rockies. That cold air is really going to maximize tomorrow in the mid-Atlantic and up into the Northeast, with temperatures potentially close to 40 degrees below average in some parts of the interior Northeast. 40 degrees below average. Let that sink in for a moment. We're going to get a little bit of a break where some warm air tries to move over the plains. We might actually have a decently warm day in Kansas and Iowa on Wednesday, but that next big punch of polar air is loading up behind it. You can see it starting to show its face on Friday, bringing very cold temperatures down into Montana and North Dakota. Then it unleashes down into Minnesota and Wisconsin as we go into Saturday. This is the same big cold blast we talked about in the last forecast, and it still goes quite far south. But here's the update. It's starting to look a little bit less amped, a little bit less significant than it was a few days ago. I think this is still a certainty. We're definitely going to have this big blast of cold air come down, but I think this is mostly going to be a problem for our friends in the Great Lakes and the Northern Plains. It doesn't look like it's going to spread as far south as we originally thought. But man, we're still talking about 40 degrees below average temperatures up in North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. What does that actually mean in real numbers? We're talking about -30 to -50 degree wind chills, -10 to -20 degree actual temperatures. This is life-threatening cold. We're talking about frostbite setting in within 5 to 10 minutes at those temperatures. This is the kind of cold where you can't be outside for more than a few minutes without risking serious injury. This is the kind of cold where cars don't start, where pipes burst, where everything just stops working. This amount of cold is probably going to trigger extreme cold advisories, so make sure you prepare your homes and your pets now. Bring your pets inside. Make sure your pipes are insulated. Have backup heating sources ready, because this is the kind of cold you can't ignore. And here's the question everyone wants answered. How long does this pattern last? Looking 6 to 10 days out from now, we are still going to be dealing with colder than average conditions east of the Rockies, specifically in the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and over towards the Northeast. That cold that's going to pile up over the next couple of days into the weekend in the Northern Plains is going to propagate down into the interior Northeast. It's not going to be quite as cold as what Minnesota sees, but it will continue to be very cold in the mid-Atlantic and up through New England as we go through the next 10 days. Meanwhile, we're going to see a big ridge build over the southwest, allowing for warmer than average temperatures to build up from Los Angeles all the way up to Boise and Denver. So, if you're in the southwest, you're in good shape. If you're east of the Rockies, bundle up. It's going to be a cold couple of weeks. Now, here's something most forecasters aren't talking about yet. We've got space weather to deal with on top of everything else. A coronal mass ejection of plasma and energy erupted from the sun, and it's directed straight at Earth. We're under a G3 geomagnetic storm watch, which is likely going to hit tomorrow, December 9th. This is a result of that coronal mass ejection that left the sun on December 6th. Now here's the interesting part. Most of the models are showing that Earth is going to get missed by the strongest part of this. Most of that plasma density is going to pass south of Earth. Right now, we're looking at a G3 storm, but if the models are wrong and we actually get hit by the strongest part of that plasma density, this could end up being a G4. And that would bring another potential viewing opportunity for mid-latitude areas in the United States to see the aurora if it happens at night. Best viewing would be way up north. We're talking Maine, Washington, with clear skies, and of course, up into Canada. We're also looking at potentially minor impacts to infrastructure. Some Wi-Fi issues here and there, some ham radio issues. Nothing too significant right now based on current projections. But here's what you need to understand about all of these events happening simultaneously. It's not just about one storm or one cold snap. It's about the compound effects. It's about emergency resources being stretched thin across multiple regions. It's about the fact that when everything happens at once, response times are slower and help might not arrive as quickly as you'd expect. That's why preparation is so critical right now. If you're in Virginia or the Carolinas, you need to be ready for that flash freeze tonight. If you're in the Midwest, you need to be ready for blizzard conditions and life-threatening cold. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, you need to be ready for historic flooding. And here's the part I haven't told you yet. The part I'm saving for the next forecast. Because looking at the long-range models, I'm seeing something developing around 10 to 14 days out that could change everything we think we know about this winter pattern. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but I will say this. If you thought this week was active, if you thought these multiple events happening simultaneously was unusual, you haven't seen anything yet. The pattern shift I'm tracking could bring a winter storm of historic proportions to the East Coast, but that's a story for another day. For now, focus on the immediate threats. Focus on the next 48 hours, because these next 2 days are going to test millions of Americans. From the ice in Virginia, to the blizzards in Minnesota, to the floods in Washington, this is an all-hands-on-deck situation. Let me give you the bottom line for each region, because this is what you really need to know. If you're in the Mid-Atlantic, specifically Virginia and the Carolinas, your biggest threat is the flash freeze tonight and tomorrow morning. The snow is secondary, the ice is primary. Adjust your commute. Give yourself extra time. Drive slowly. Treat every road as potentially iced over. If you're in the upper Midwest, specifically Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, your threats are threefold. Heavy snow today and tomorrow. Blizzard conditions with 60-mile-per-hour winds, and then life-threatening cold starting Wednesday and lasting through the weekend. Negative 50-degree wind chills are not a joke. Stay inside as much as possible. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, specifically Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, your threat is catastrophic flooding. 4 to 8 inches of rain with no break for drainage. Rivers rising rapidly. Mudslides in steep terrain. If you're near a river or burned scar, have an evacuation plan ready and be prepared to execute it immediately if conditions deteriorate. For everyone else east of the Rockies, you're looking at below normal temperatures for an extended period. Not life-threatening like Minnesota, but still cold enough to cause problems. Frozen pipes, higher heating bills, slippery roads. Be prepared for winter conditions to persist through the next 10 days at minimum. And one more thing before we wrap this up. These compound events, these multiple simultaneous weather emergencies, this is becoming more common. Whether you attribute it to climate change or natural variability or something else entirely, the fact is we're seeing more of these situations where multiple regions face significant threats at the same time. That means you can't rely on help coming from neighboring states if your area gets hit hard. That means you need to be more self-sufficient. That means you need to have supplies on hand, food, water, medications, backup power, whatever you need to get through 72 hours without outside assistance. Because when 5 different regions are dealing with emergencies simultaneously, emergency management resources get stretched thin, response times increase, help might not arrive when you expect it. You need to be able to take care of yourself and your family for at least a few days. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm tracking something significant in the long-range models. Something that could develop 10 to 14 days out. I'm going to be monitoring this very closely over the next few days, and I'll have a detailed update in my next forecast. But I'll give you this hint. The pattern we're currently in, with these Alberta clippers racing through and bringing cold but not major snow to the big East Coast cities, that pattern might be about to change. And if it changes the way some models are suggesting, we could be looking at a major coastal storm. The kind that brings significant snow to Interstate 95. I'm not making any promises yet. Long-range forecasting is tricky and things can change, but the ingredients are starting to line up. The cold air is definitely going to be in place. The question is whether we can get the moisture and the energy to phase properly to create a big coastal storm. And here's why this matters for you right now, even though this potential storm is 10 to 14 days away. Because if you're already dealing with snow and ice from the current systems, and then you get hit with another major storm in 2 weeks, that's a compound problem. Snow on top of snow, ice on top of ice. And the ability to clear roads and restore power gets harder with each successive event. So stay tuned. Keep checking back for updates. Because this winter is just getting started. And based on what I'm seeing in the models, we've got a lot more weather to talk about in the coming weeks. For now, focus on the immediate threats. Virginia, watch out for that flash freeze tonight. Minnesota, prepare for blizzard conditions and life-threatening cold. Washington, get ready for historic flooding. And everyone else, just stay alert and stay prepared. The next 48 hours are critical. Lives could be saved or lost based on the decisions people make tonight and tomorrow. So take this seriously. Share this information with friends and family in affected areas. Make sure everyone knows what's coming and what they need to do to stay safe. And remember, weather doesn't care about your plans. Weather doesn't care about your schedule. When conditions are dangerous, adjust accordingly. It's better to miss a day of work than to risk your life driving on icy roads or getting caught in a blizzard. Stay safe out there, stay warm if you're in the cold zones, stay dry if you're in the flood zones, and most importantly, stay informed. Because the next forecast is going to reveal information about that potential major storm that could change everything for the East Coast. This is the kind of winter where you can't let your guard down. Multiple threats, compound events, systems stacking on top of each other, it's all happening, and it's all happening right now. So buckle up, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next update with more details on what's coming next.